Hello and welcome to my kitchen. We are making these really rudimentary chocolate covered crackers with peanut butter in the middle of them. I bought these cheese and cracker trays some time ago. What was it? I think I was just having people over in general. And I bought these cheese and cracker trays, and then I still had crackers left over after I'd eaten through all of the cheese, and I was trying to figure out a good way to use all of the crackers that I had left over. And I remembered that I had some dark chocolate baking squares left over from something that I had baked. Pardon me, my kitchen is a disaster zone right now. But anyway, I had some leftover chocolate squares from something that I baked forever ago. And I've got the crackers left over from when I was having people over and was doing cheese and crackers. And then I had peanut butter in the pantry. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make just a full-on dessert with this. I'm going to do a dark chocolate spread, and then I'm going to dip the crackers in it. And then I'm going to make little sandwiches out of them with peanut butter in the middle. And I figured that I would take you all on this journey and see how they turn out. It is a lazy Sunday, and I am just trying to make the most of some food that I had in the pantry. And honestly, that feels pretty good whenever you're able to do something like this and just be like, you know, I have all these random things in the pantry. Can I turn them into something good? And obviously I've never actually made chocolate covered peanut butter cracker squares before, but it doesn't sound like something that should be gross by any means. I've got just a bunch of dark chocolate and butter in this pot here, and then I'm going to melt it down, and then I'm going to take the crackers and I'm going to dip them in here, and we're just going to go until I don't have enough chocolate left to dip crackers in anymore, and then I'll make sandwiches out of them, and it's going to be great. And honestly right now I don't even feel like I have that much chocolate. I put 2 whole chocolate bars in here though, so it's hard for me to believe that I don't have enough chocolate to do this. Maybe when the butter melts down I'll feel a little better about it. It's a little hot, so I'm going to turn the heat down. It is a chilly day. I am a frugal individual, and I have not turned my heat on all season yet. And of course, since it's already cold outside, I don't have my AC on. It's like 54 in the house right now, and so I'm in sweats and pajamas, and as you can see, I've got a blanket draped over myself. And what it does is it makes my electric bill like $40 a month whenever I can survive in this kind of weather. And honestly, that's kind of worth, because the less money I have to spend on utilities, the more money I can spend on other things. I am seriously looking at getting a different or better camera. I feel like I talked to you guys about that already. I've got my sights set on the just the R50. It's another Canon brand. I use Canon presently, and I really like Canon. I've always had a good time with their cameras, but this one hasn't been the same ever since the rainstorm video. And so I decided that now is the time to upgrade. I've been looking to upgrade for a while anyway. I just never really had the reason to do so. So now I've got an excuse. I've got a camera that's not doing so hot. I also am well aware that I need to get some new microphones. I was editing the last video that I did, and it just did not sound very great. And that's kind of an important thing. Like when you're making these videos like this, you want it to sound somewhat decent. So looking to get more audio equipment or audio and video equipment actually. That'll be a, ow, that's hot. That'll be a better, how do I want to do this? That'll be a better setup for future videos. So I'm trying to get a fork here because I thought I was just going to do it barehanded. And the freshly melted chocolate, believe it or not, is kind of hot. And so I am just going to roll it around there a couple of times. I feel like there is way more chocolate on this cracker than needs to be though. These are gonna be some chocolatey crackers. And take it off the heat. I was gonna leave it on the heat, and I thought if I left it on low, that if I left it on low, it wouldn't be that much of a problem, but it's starting to boil. And no one wants boiled chocolate or burnt chocolate. Never burnt chocolate before, but if I were going to burn chocolate, then I suppose I would soon figure out how to do that. Blanket fell off because I walked in here like a weirdo, trying to dry off my hands. I got my towel in the living room. But at any rate, just hanging out today. Those lazy Sunday feelings where, and I think I'm getting honey mustard all over my hands. No, I'm good. Anyway, those lazy Sunday feelings when it's like the end of the day and you haven't done anything all day and you feel like you should have done something, and so then you're trying to do all the things that you were trying to do. Does anybody else get those feelings on a Sunday? It happens to me very frequently. And the unfortunate thing is, like, got to go back to work on Monday, which, I mean, it's not the devil's work or anything. It's just work is work. You'd rather be somewhere else. We're not going to kid ourselves and pretend like we enjoy it. I'm thankful for where I am in work, but I'm not over here like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get back to work. Don't know that there's very many people who are working for a company that feel that way, and if you are one of those people, congratulations. I envy you, and I think a lot of people probably do. But just that general thought process of you had 24 hours to yourself and you had all these things set out for yourself to do, all these expectations, and you don't really get all of it done, or at least I never do. As you can see, my kitchen is still kind of messy. I didn't get to clean it to the extent that I would have liked. Laundry, I've still got laundry to do. Adulting, as we millennials have so generously coined that phrase, doesn't always happen in this household. And like, it happens when it needs to happen, and I'm mature with the things that I do, but if I don't need to be doing things, I tend to push them off. But I guess that's human nature. We all kind of do things that, or we do the things that we want to do and push off the things that we don't. I'd rather try and make these chocolate covered cracker sandwiches than do laundry, and so here we are. Plus, like, I don't know that a video of me making or doing laundry would get me very far, and I've dedicated this goal of mine to getting X amount of videos out to you guys. And so anytime that something pops up that I'm like, you know, that might be worth having a video made off of, I'm more prone to do that than I would be to just doing something else. But you know, if this winds up anyway the way that I feel that it will wind up, then I'll probably divulge or wind up doing more silly videos of laundry and things that are just random. Because you never really know, and like, you make a commitment and you don't know if you're going to be able to commit to it or not. And this is that time of year where people are constantly making commitments and constantly trying to do things, and sometimes you get the things you committed to doing, and sometimes you just epically fail at it. And I'm hoping that this won't be an epic failure. My attention tends to bounce from place to place, as in, like, I'll be going super hard on something for a good while, and then sooner rather than later, it's just like I completely lose any motivation that I had, or I find something else that sounds more exciting to do and I do that instead. And so I'm hoping that this will not turn into one of those things. I can be like a pretty well-determined individual. I've accomplished a lot of things. I've written 4 novels, technically 6, but 4 of them are published and the other 2 are not. And whenever I say I've written 4 novels, I don't want people to think that I'm some sort of poser, so I only give them the number of novels that I've published when I say that, rather than the number of novels that I've finished. But yes, I have finished 6 of them. One of them I was trying to do traditional publishing with, but I have not had a lot of success with that. I attended a writing event where I pitched the book to several agents, and 2 of them actually asked for the next 50 pages, which is like the next logical step in that process. And so I was super excited, ready to go with that. But then I never did hear anything back from them, and that was back in March. So I feel like if they were going to say something, they would have by now. And so I am more or less just trying to decide whether or not I'm going to actually publish that book, or am I just going to self-publish it like I have all of my other books. And I think the biggest thing that's kind of knocking me right now is I'm just like kicking myself because I feel like this year has been utterly unproductive for me because I haven't put out a book yet. Like, I'm used to putting out a book every year. This is the first year since 2020 that I have not put out a book, which, I mean, I guess it's not that bad, but still. And so that feels lame. And then there's the general idea of like, I did write a book. I actually wrote 2 books this year, but because none of them are published, it feels like I didn't accomplish anything. And that's just a weird mind game that like I have to get over. But it's interesting that our minds play these games with us, and like, is it really like healthy? Like, is my mind just trying to be like, yo, you should be more productive? Or is it unhealthy and I'm just like kicking myself for not doing something that realistically, like, no one else is doing that. Like, I am holding myself to these standards, and I'm holding myself to these standards relatively strictly. And should I be more lenient with myself? Obviously, if you get too lenient with yourself, then you just get away with not doing stuff, and that's not necessarily a smart way to be either. And so it's this weird balance that we play. I'm definitely not going to have enough chocolate for the second row of crackers. I will have enough chocolate for this row of crackers if I'm lucky, which doesn't necessarily surprise me. I don't know that I thought I was going to have enough chocolate for all of these crackers, but I'm not even sure that I'm going to have enough chocolate for... I got a decent stack of crackers left. And I wanted to make sandwiches out of these crackers, but I also wanted to have some of them just plain. So unless I get like an odd number of crackers out of this, I don't know if I'm going to be able to have all the things that I want out of it. But at any rate, going back to writing and creating and all that fun stuff, so yeah, I had the book that I was going to do traditional publishing on, because to this point I've only published independently, and independent publishing has been good enough to me. Like, I average about close to 200 books per sale or per release, which is a huge number that I'm super duper proud of. Obviously, like, I'd like to go full-time writing at some point in time. That's the end goal here, is to be able to take writing full-time and see what we got going on there. But until that happens, I'm in a satisfied place with my life and where I am, and it's not like I'm miserable and working some dead-end job and trying desperately to get out of anything. I just would like to be able to do something that I am passionate about for a living, and I think we all deserve at least a chance to be able to do those things. I had some leftover, like, chicken from this local chicken joint that's in a grocery store. It's not really a chicken restaurant. It just is like chicken under a heat lamp, that kind of stuff. And it was really gross. And I cannot get the taste of that chicken out of my mouth. And it's kind of ruining, like, this, because, like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be excited. I'm making these chocolate covered crackers, but all I can taste is that gross chicken, and it is just not doing it for me. And so, like, pro tip, like, do not eat gross chicken before you try and make some sort of meal, because it's just going to make you upset. Always drinking Gatorade. Somebody told me that with as much Gatorade as I drink, I should drink the zero sugar brand and not the full sugar brand. I don't really know that I am that concerned about my weight. Obviously, like, the way I am now, I'm not that concerned. But at some point in time, I will probably wake up with a bigger gut than I'm proud to admit, and I will have to try and figure out what I'm going to do about that. I try and build good habits now so that I'm not trying to break bad habits when they become a problem. And I don't remember where I heard that, but it was probably a YouTube video or something that I was watching, and they were like, it's a lot easier to establish good habits now than it is to fix a problem after it's been established as a problem. So like if I were trying to start exercising after I have become obese and have bad knees and all that stuff, then it's going to be a lot harder to do that and to commit to it than it would be now, and then just maybe hit it harder as the weight starts to come on. So this looks to be the most that I'm going to get out of these. There was just 2 chocolate bars, and it wasn't even enough for like this whole sleeve of crackers. It's kind of nuts. Like, it makes me wonder if I were trying to bake like a whole crap load of these things, how many chocolates would I need? Whole bunch, apparently. I think this is going to be the last one. At least it'll be pretty well covered. So I'll bring you guys over here so you can get a look-see at it and see all that I made. But yeah, just really want to do, as I'm trying to do this adventure here with these videos, just trying to turn the camera on more often and film things that happen more often than not, and just see how we do. YouTube says consistency is key, but obviously like creating quality videos is a thing too. But like there's a lot of people who create videos that I don't necessarily think are worth a darn. I'm like, who's watching this? And then like hundreds of thousands of people are watching it apparently. So maybe I should just do videos and see what works and repeat what works and don't repeat what doesn't work. And historically speaking, what I've been doing hasn't been working. So it helps to try something new and drastically different from what I have been doing. And maybe someday when I'm a big YouTuber and you look back at my account and you can be like, wow, he literally used to just sit in his kitchen and make crappy dishes with leftover stuff and make a video about it and expect people to watch it. And congratulations, that's exactly what I'm doing here. I will be doing more like cooking videos. 'Tis the season for that. And so hopefully those will be like a more production, if you will. I still intend to make videos that are a decent production, but like I feel like the balance between both like production and not so production-y, it would be a smart thing for me to try and master, or not master, but at least exercise. But yeah, let's get you guys in here and look at these little chocolate covered crackers. One of them is really kind of needing some more chocolate, but I was running low on that one. But so yeah, how many did we get out of that? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 crackers, which means I'll get like, what, 12 of the little peanut butter sandwiches out of it, because when you piece them together like that, you'll get like 12 sandwiches. Let's see if we can find some room in the fridge for it. Move the bacon up here. Those are those, can you see that? That's the little charcuterie board, I think is what they're supposed to be called, or something like that. It's a cheese tray is what I call it, but that's where the crackers came from. I had 2 of those. I had one that had salami and pepperoni on it, and I had another one that had ham and turkey. And I just had a whole bunch of leftover crackers from those guys. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make crackers and I'm going to cover them in dark chocolate. There's the dark chocolate mixture ganache thing that I made. Like I said, it was essentially it was just, I'm going to take you outside and give you something cool to look at while I talk to you a little more. It was just butter and dark chocolate. And I melted it down and made it nice and melty. But yeah, so that's been this video, kind of a shorter adventure, just making some crackers. You didn't really get to see me or anything, but that has been today. Lazy Sunday. Happy Sunday, everybody. Let's have a good one. All right, so we are back at it. I logged out and turned off my camera and everything last time as though I was just completely done, but then I was like, oh snap, I still need to add peanut butter to these. So let's I'm gonna get you guys closer to this. I'll set you up again here in a minute. But let's get the crackers out that are covered in peanut butter. And no, they're not covered in peanut butter, they're covered in chocolate, and I have to put the peanut butter on them now. Let me first remember what the heck it is I'm doing. Should probably turn the oven off so that it doesn't melt the chocolate. Again, just took it out of the fridge so that it wouldn't be melted. But yeah, I'm gonna make little sandwiches out of these guys. Little sandwiches. So I got, like I said, this is the ultimate throw together leftover meal thing. I had leftover crackers from these cheese board things, and then I had leftover chocolate from something that I made at some point in time, and I had peanut butter in the pantry. And so now let's try and get these suckers up. There's one of them. Okay, it's a lot easier if you use the paper to your advantage. And so, just trying to get these bad boys off of the wax paper. Turn them suckers upside down. Douse them in peanut butter. And make little sandwiches out of them. They're gonna be like little chocolate peanut butter sandwiches. Like a poor man's Oreo. I don't know, I like doing these kind of resourceful things. It feels like a good use of my stuff. Some of these are less solid than others. They were in the fridge for about half an hour. I feel like that would be enough time. And part of it is probably because this oven is still kind of hot, and it might be heating up the chocolate again, actually. So, let's see. Is that everything? Oh, no, got a couple here that are still needing to be flipped. All right, here we go. Now we're ready to start doing this. All right, so I'm hoping that these taste good and I don't put all this all together and it tastes gross. I honestly don't know how it could not taste good though. Like, how can you go wrong with crackers, chocolate, and peanut butter, right? Those things go well together. And that's what a lot of these things that I put together is really just like, these things normally taste good together, so they should taste good together when I put them all together, right? What's the difference? Get me a knife and start lathering these bad boys up with peanut butter. I prefer crunchy peanut butter, but creamy is all I have right now, so creamy is what we will use. And get another one of these guys. And boom, I'll take that and you guys can get a nice big old look at that. That's what I'm making, and I hope it was in focus and not just a giant nightmare. Here, let me turn my viewfinder around so I can actually see what I'm doing, and then I can see if it's in focus, and you guys can be like, wow, that looks great, or maybe you're like, that looks disgusting, what are you doing? I don't know, we're here for different reasons. Let me get down there. Yeah, look at that. Peanut butter, chocolate, crackers. Exciting stuff going on this Sunday. And I don't know what you all are doing. Is it even Sunday when you're watching this? Is it even Sunday when it gets uploaded? It's kind of an interesting concept, really, that everything that we see, unless it's live streamed, is not happening in real time. And I guess you could probably even trick live streaming and have that not be real time and some pre-recorded nonsense too. But I've been debating on these videos and how I'm going to format them and when I will actually start this whole process, because realistically speaking, I want to have a decent bank a nice cushion before I just pull that Band-Aid off. Because I know me, and I know how easily I can get distracted, and what is a priority this weekend can very easily take this back burner the next weekend, and then the next thing you know, you went from having all these ideas and being able to do all this stuff to not being able to do anything. And so having a little bank is helpful. And I don't even know if this is going to be worth my time or not. I could do all of this and just wind up in the same place that I've always been on YouTube, which is really nowhere. But to the same end, like, if you don't try, then you will never really know. And so this is what we're doing. We are trying and trying and trying and trying. And hopefully, eventually, we will be succeeding. That's what it's all about. Life is unpredictable, and it's a big old experiment. And some of us experiment more than others. Some of us don't experiment hardly at all. But at the end of the day, it's hard to have known whether or not you tried your darndest or did your best or got what you wanted out of it if you never experimented. And so that's what we're doing here in a multitude of ways. I'm experimenting with these weird chocolate cracker cookies, but it's a little bigger than that. I'm experimenting with a different kind of video that I've never done before, something that from the outside looking in sounds kind of boring and hopefully is less boring. Hopefully I can make it less boring. Trying to remember to talk is the biggest thing when there's no one around. I have friends that I talk to. I know it's hard to believe, but I have friends that I talk to, and whenever I bring this up to them, they're like, just pretend like you're talking to one of us, because you have no issue talking for lengthy periods of times about oddly philosophical things when we're around. And so I was like, okay, that's what I'll do. So I'm pretending like you guys are somebody that I've known for ages. And man, this chocolate is not holding up well at all. It's going right back in the fridge. I did get all 12 of my sandwiches made. You can see them right there. They look great. I wanted to eat one, but like I said, the oven is kind of warm still. And so the chocolate was just starting to play its own game. I got chocolate all over my hands now, which that doesn't bother me, but I would have been mad if I messed the whole thing up because I was trying to rush perfection and get all this stuff put together before it was ready to be put together. But yeah, there we go. We got 12 little peanut butter chocolate cracker sandwiches made up. I'll have to try one here in a little while, see if they were everything I hoped they would be. But that's kind of what I was getting at here. Thought of the day. It's not really a thought of the day, but I sometimes give you guys thoughts of the day, and sometimes I just make a video. But like making the most out of what little we have, making a whole dessert out of some crackers and some peanut butter and some chocolate. And you know, I think about going to one of these local fairs and trying to have food at the fair, because the food people do really good. And like, people are always hungry, they always want food, and like drinks a big thing because sometimes it's kind of hot. And I like to consider myself relatively capable in the kitchen, and I'm like, you know what, let's make some food, let's just see how that goes. I have typically been doing them for books, and that does well enough, but maybe I should try food next time too. But yeah, that has been me making a really hodgepodge chocolate peanut butter cracker thing and talking to you guys about stuff. And y'all have a good rest of your weekend, rest of your Sunday, or whatever day it is that you're watching this.